I want you to understand that your imagination is not some idle faculty of the mind, but the very creative power of God Himself operating through you. When I tell you to act as if nothing can stop you, I am not speaking of mere positive thinking or wishful dreaming. I am speaking of the fundamental law of creation itself, the law by which all things come into being. Every night when you lay your head upon your pillow, you enter into the creative workshop of the universe. In that state between waking and sleeping, in that drowsy, peaceful condition, your conscious mind relaxes its hold, and your imagination becomes receptive to impressions. It is in this state that you must plant the seeds of your desire, seeing yourself as already being the person you wish to become, already living the life you wish to live. But here is what most people fail to understand. You must act from the end. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. If you desire success, you must feel successful now. If you desire wealth, you must feel wealthy now. If you desire love, you must feel love now. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances change, but now, in this very moment. This is not pretense, my friends. This is not playing make-believe. This is recognizing the truth of your being. You are not a physical body with a soul. You are a soul expressing through a physical body. You are not limited by the circumstances you see around you. Those circumstances are the effects of your past states of consciousness. When you change your state, when you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you set into motion forces that must, by law, bring about the corresponding changes in your world. Let me tell you of the farmer who plants his seed. Does he dig it up each day to see if it is growing? Does he doubt its eventual harvest? No, he plants the seed with confidence, knowing that nature's laws will work invisibly beneath the surface to bring forth the desired crop. He acts as if the harvest is certain, because he understands the law. In the same way, when you plant the seed of your desire in your imagination, when you feel it real and live from that assumption, you can act with the same confidence, knowing that the invisible forces of creation are working to bring your harvest into manifestation. But you must persist in your assumption. You must remain faithful to your vision even when the world seems to contradict it. This is where most people fail. They plant the seed of their desire, but when they do not see immediate results, they begin to doubt. They look at their current circumstances and say, it's not working. They forget that there is always an interval of time between the planting and the harvest, between the assumption and the manifestation. During this interval, you must live as if your desire is already fulfilled. You must think from it, not merely think of it. When you think of your desire, you are still in the state of wanting it. But when you think from your desire, when you assume it is already yours, you are in the state of having it. This shift in consciousness, this movement from thinking of to thinking from, is the key to manifestation. I tell you tonight that nothing can stop you because there is nothing outside of you that has power over you. Every person, every circumstance, every situation in your world is there by your own appointment. You have called them forth through your states of consciousness. If you do not like what you see, you do not fight it or struggle against it. You simply change your state, assume a new feeling, live from a different assumption, and the world must conform to your new state of being. This is why the ancients spoke of God as I am. For I am is the name of God, and whatever you attach to I am, you become. If you say I am poor, you are poor. If you say I am sick, you are sick. If you say I am unloved, you are unloved. But if you say I am prosperous, if you feel it real and live from that assumption, prosperity must come into your experience. If you say I am healthy and assume the feeling of perfect health, health must manifest in your body. If you say I am loved and feel the warmth of being cherished, love must find its way into your life. The secret lies not in the saying, but in the feeling. Words without feeling are empty. But when you combine the word with the feeling, when you say I am and feel of what you are claiming, you invoke the creative power of the universe itself. You are not asking God for these things, you are claiming them as God, for you and the Father are one. This is perhaps the most difficult concept for the human mind to accept. We have been taught to see ourselves as separate from the divine, as supplicants begging for favors from a distant deity. But the truth is far more magnificent. You are not separate from God. You are God expressing as you. The same creative power that formed the worlds is the power that beats your heart, breathes your breath, and dreams your dreams. When you truly grasp this truth, when you really understand that you are the operant power, that you are the one imagining your world into existence, then you can act as if nothing can stop you, because you know that nothing can stop you. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. Circumstances are at the mercy of your imagination. But imagination must be disciplined. It must be directed. Most people let their imagination run while dwelling on their fears, their limitations, their past failures. They imagine the worst and then wonder why their lives are filled with difficulty and disappointment. They do not realize that they are the authors of their own experience, the script writers of their own drama. To act as if nothing can stop you, you must take control of your imagination. You must become selective about the thoughts you think, the feelings you feel, the mental images you entertain. Every thought is a seed. Every feeling is a creative force. Every mental image is a blueprint for manifestation. When you understand this, you become careful about what you allow into the garden of your mind. This is not about suppressing negative thoughts or pretending that challenges do not exist. This is about recognizing that your response to any situation is what gives it power in your life. Two people can face the same challenge and one will be destroyed by it, while the other will be strengthened. The difference is not in the challenge itself, but in the assumption each person holds about themselves and their ability to overcome. When you act as if nothing can stop you, you are not denying the existence of obstacles. You are declaring that no obstacle is greater than the creative power within you. You are affirming that every challenge is an opportunity to demonstrate your divine nature. Every setback is a set for a comeback. Every closed door is redirection toward a better path. The Bible tells us to walk by faith and not by sight. This means that you must learn to trust your inner vision more than your outer circumstances. Your outer world is always the reflection of your inner world. If you want to change what you see, you must first change what you feel. If you want different circumstances, you must first assume a different state of consciousness. This is why I emphasize the importance of living in the end. You must see yourself as already having achieved your goal, as already being the person you want to become. You must feel the satisfaction of accomplishment, the joy of fulfillment, the peace of having arrived. When you live in this feeling, when you make it your dwelling place, the external world has no choice but to conform to this inner reality. But you must be persistent. You must be consistent. You must maintain your assumption even when the evidence seems to contradict it. This is faith in its truest form. Faith is not hoping that something might happen. Faith is knowing that it must happen because you have already felt it real in your imagination. Let me share with you the story of a man who came to me years ago broken and defeated. He had lost his business, his home, his family's respect. He felt as though everything that could go wrong had gone wrong. But I taught him this principle I am sharing with you tonight. I taught him to act as if nothing could stop him from reclaiming his success and prosperity. Every night he would lie in bed and imagine himself in his new office, in his new home, surrounded by the respect and admiration of his family. He would feel the texture of success, taste the sweetness of accomplishment, breathe the air of prosperity. During the day when circumstances seemed to mock his vision, he would return to his inner dwelling place, to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Month after month he persisted. While others saw only his failures, he saw his future success. While others spoke of his limitations, he dwelt in the feeling of his unlimited potential. And gradually, imperceptibly at first, then with increasing momentum, his outer world began to conform to his inner assumption. Opportunities appeared where none had existed before. Resources manifested from unexpected sources. Within 2 years, he had not only regained everything he had lost, but had surpassed his previous level of success. This man understood what I am trying to convey to you tonight. He acted as if nothing could stop him, because he realized that nothing could stop him. He did not wait for evidence before believing. He believed first, and the evidence followed. This is the natural order of creation. First comes the assumption, the feeling, the inner knowing. Then comes the manifestation, the evidence, the outer confirmation. Most people have this backwards. They wait for the evidence before they will believe, but evidence is always the effect, never the cause. Belief is the cause, evidence is merely the shadow cast by belief. When you understand this principle, you realize that you are never a victim of circumstances. You are always the creator of your experience. Even in the most challenging situations, you maintain your power to choose your response, to assume a different state, to plant new seeds in the garden of your imagination. This does not mean that life will be without challenges. Challenges are part of the human experience, part of the process by which we grow and expand. But when you act as if nothing can stop you, challenges become opportunities rather than obstacles. They become the resistance training that strengthens your faith muscles, the contrast that clarifies your desires, the stepping stones that lead to higher levels of manifestation. The key is to never accept any undesirable condition as permanent. No matter how entrenched the situation may seem, no matter how long it has persisted, it can be changed through a change in consciousness. The same imagination that created the undesirable condition can create a desirable one. The same faith that brought the problem can bring the solution. But you must act from your desired state, not toward it. This distinction is crucial. When you act toward your desired state, you are affirming that you do not yet have it. You are living in the consciousness of lack, of wanting, of needing. But when you act from your desired state, you are affirming that you already have it. You are living in the consciousness of fulfillment, of gratitude, of completion. This shift in consciousness is not always easy. It requires discipline, practice, and a willingness to trust your inner vision above your outer circumstances. It requires you to be unmoved by the opinions of others, unchanged by the evidence of your senses, unshaken by the temporary delays in manifestation. But I tell you that this is the only way to live truly free, truly empowered, truly unlimited. When you learn to act as if nothing can stop you, you discover that nothing can stop you. When you learn to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you discover that your wishes must be fulfilled. When you learn to live from the end, you discover that the end is always the beginning of something even greater. Your imagination is not subject to the laws of the physical world. In imagination, you can be anywhere, do anything, have everything. Time and space do not limit you. Past and future merge into an eternal now. What seems impossible becomes inevitable. What appears difficult becomes effortless. What looks distant becomes immediate. This is why the mystics throughout history have spoken of the power of inner vision. They understood that the real work of creation happens in consciousness, not in the external world. They knew that by changing their inner state, they could change their outer circumstances. They realized that the kingdom of heaven is within, and that from this inner kingdom, all outer kingdoms are ruled. Tonight, I invite you to claim your rightful place as the ruler of your own kingdom. I invite you to recognize your divine authority, your creative power, your unlimited potential. I invite you to stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as the creator of circumstances. This transformation begins with a simple shift in assumption. Instead of saying, I hope things will get better, you say things are getting better. Instead of saying, I wish I could achieve my goals, you say, I am achieving my goals. Instead of saying, maybe someday I will be successful, you say, I am successful now. But remember, the words alone are not enough. You must feel the truth of what you are saying. You must live in the consciousness of what you are claiming. You must make these assumptions your dwelling place, your natural state of being. When doubts arise, and they will, do not fight them. Simply return to your assumption. Where evidence seems to contradict your vision, do not be discouraged. Remember that manifestation takes time, and that the invisible forces of creation are always working on your behalf. When others question your faith, do not be swayed. Your inner knowing is more reliable than their outer observations. The path of assumption requires great faith, but it also yields great rewards. Those who persist in this practice discover that they can indeed accomplish anything they set their mind to. They find that obstacles dissolve before their unwavering faith, that resources appear to support their endeavors, that the right people come into their lives at the right time. This is not magic, though it may seem magical to those who do not understand the law. This is science, the science of consciousness, the physics of faith, the mathematics of manifestation. Just as there are laws governing the physical world, there are laws governing the mental and spiritual worlds. When you align yourself with these laws, when you work in harmony with them rather than against them, you discover that you are indeed unstoppable. Every great achievement in human history began as someone's assumption. Every invention, every discovery, every work of art, every social movement, every breakthrough in human understanding first existed in someone's imagination. The person who conceived it lived in the feeling of its fulfillment before it became a physical reality. The Wright brothers felt themselves flying before they ever left the ground. Edison felt the electric light illuminating the darkness before he invented the light bulb. Gandhi felt India's freedom before independence was won. Each of these individuals acted as if nothing could stop them from realizing their vision, and their persistence in this assumption ultimately brought their visions into manifestation. You have the same power they had. You have the same creative ability, the same divine nature, the same unlimited potential. The only difference between you and those who have achieved great things is their willingness to live in the assumption of success, while the evidence still contradicted it. This is your invitation to join the ranks of those who have dared to dream impossible dreams and then lived as if dreams were already real. This is your call to step into the fullness of your divine nature, to claim your inheritance as a child of the Most High, to act with the authority that is rightfully yours. As we near the end of our time together tonight, I want to leave you with this final truth. You are not here by accident. You are not a random collection of atoms wandering aimlessly through space. You are a unique expression of the divine creative principle, endowed with the power to imagine and the ability to make your imaginations real. The challenges you face are not punishments. They are opportunities to demonstrate your divine nature. The desires you feel are not selfish wants. They are the divine seeking to express itself through you. The dreams you dream are not idle fantasies. They are previews of your future reality. When you leave here tonight, I want you to go forth with a new understanding of who you are and what you are capable of. I want you to act as if nothing can stop you, because nothing can stop you when you are aligned with the creative power of the universe. Plant the seeds of your desires in the fertile soil of your imagination. Water them with feeling, nurture them with faith, protect them with persistence. Ignore the voices that say it cannot be done. Dismiss the evidence that seems to contradict your vision. Persevere through the period of germination when nothing seems to be happening. Your harvest is assured. Your success is inevitable. Your dreams are already yours in the realm of imagination. And from that realm, they must and will find their way into your physical experience. Act as if this is true, for it is true. Live as if nothing can stop you, for nothing can stop you. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, for in feeling it fulfilled, you make it so. The time for limitation is over. The time for excuses has passed. The time for playing small has ended. This is your time to rise, to claim your power, to step into the magnificence of your true being. This is your time to act as if nothing can stop you, for indeed nothing can. The world you perceive around you is not separate from you, but a reflection of your inner state. Your consciousness is the only reality, and what you hold in your mind and heart manifests in your experience. This is the fundamental principle that underpins all creation, including what we commonly refer as luck. Now you might be thinking, but Neville, I've seen people who seem naturally who effortlessly effort at good fortune. How can this be if luck is a state of consciousness? To this I say, look closer. Those who appear naturally lucky are often those who consciously or unconsciously have aligned their inner state with the very essence of good fortune. They expect good things to happen to them. They approach life with a sense of optimism and possibility. They see opportunities where others see obstacles. In short, they have cultivated a lucky state of consciousness, and the outer world has no choice but to conform to this inner reality. So how does one cultivate this state of consciousness? How does one become the luckiest person in the world? The answer, my friends, lies in the power of your imagination and your ability to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Imagine, if you will, what it would feel like to be the luckiest person in the world. Close your eyes for a moment and really feel it. How would you carry yourself? What thoughts would occupy your mind? How would you react to the events of your day? You see, when you assume the feeling of being lucky, when you live from that state, you begin to notice opportunities that were always there but previously invisible to you. You become more open to synchronicities and coincidences that seem to work in your favor. You start to make decisions from a place of confidence and expectation of positive outcomes. This is not mere positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. This is the deliberate use of your imagination to reshape your consciousness and consequently your reality. Remember, your imagination or the fantasy spinning machine is the very workshop wherein your world is created. Now let us delve deeper into the practical application of this principle. To be the luckiest person in the world, you must first redefine what luck means to you. Is it financial abundance, harmonious relationships, perfect health, exciting opportunities? Whatever it may be, you must create a clear mental image of what being lucky looks like in your life. Once you have this image, your task is to make it so vivid, so real enough in your imagination, that when you open your eyes, you are surprised to find that it hasn't yet materialized in your physical reality. This is the art of living from the end, experiencing in your imagination the fulfillment of your desire with such intensity that it becomes your dominant mental state. Let me give you an example. Suppose you desire financial abundance as a manifestation of your luck. Instead of anxiously worrying about bills or constantly affirming that money will come to you, you must assume the state of already being financially abundant. In your imagination, feel the relief and joy of having more than enough money. Experience the freedom of being able to buy what you want when you want it. Feel the satisfaction of being generous with your wealth. Make this imaginal act so real that you can almost feel the crisp bills in your hand or see the impressive figures in your bank account. As you practice this, you'll notice a shift in your consciousness. You'll begin to feel more relaxed about money. You'll start to notice financial opportunities that you might have overlooked before. You'll make decisions from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. And gradually your outer world will reshape itself to match this new inner reality. But remember, my dear friends, this practice is not about forcing or straining. It's about allowing yourself to feel the naturalness of your desired state. The luckiest person in the world doesn't constantly think about being lucky, they simply are. They live from that state effortlessly, naturally, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, what about hard work and effort? Surely luck is in everything. And to this I say, inspired action is indeed a crucial part of manifestation. But this action comes from a different place than mere toil and struggle. When you truly embody the state of being the luckiest person in the world, you'll find yourself naturally inspired to take actions that align with this state. These actions won't feel like hard work. They'll feel joyful, exciting, almost effortless. You'll be in the flow, so to speak, riding the wave of your good fortune. This is the difference between working hard to become lucky and taking inspired action because you are lucky. The former is an uphill battle. The latter is a joyous unfolding. Choose the latter, my friends, and watch as the universe conspires to support your every move. Now let us address a common misconception about luck. Many believe that to be lucky means to have everything go your way all the time. But this is not the case. The truly lucky person is not one who never faces challenges, but one who sees every experience, whether perceived as positive or negative, as an opportunity for growth and advancement. In fact, what others might call bad luck often turns out to be a blessing in disguise for the person who knows themselves to be inherently lucky. They trust in the perfect unfolding of their life, knowing that every experience is bringing them closer to the full realization of their desires. This trust, this unshakable faith in your own good fortune, is a crucial aspect of being the luckiest person in the world. It allows you to remain calm and centered, even in the face of apparent setbacks. It gives you the confidence to take risks and seize opportunities that others might shy away from. But how does one cultivate this trust? Through persistent assumption of your desired state. By continuously living from the end, experiencing in your imagination the reality of being the luckiest person in the flight club, you build an unshakable conviction in your good fortune. This conviction becomes your dominant state, coloring all your perceptions and experiences. You begin to luck everywhere, not because external circumstances have changed, but because you have changed. Your consciousness has shifted, and the outer world has no choice but to reflect this shift. Now, my friends, I want to address something that often comes up when we discuss the idea of creating our own luck. Some ask, if we create our own reality, does that mean those who experience misfortune are to blame for their circumstances? This is a nuanced question that requires a compassionate understanding. While it's true that our dominant states of consciousness shape our experiences, we are not always consciously aware of all our beliefs and assumptions, especially deeply ingrained in our subconscious mind. Moreover, we are part of a collective consciousness, and sometimes we experience events that reflect with beliefs rather than individual ones. The key is not to judge or blame, but to recognize that no matter what circumstances we find ourselves in, we always have the power to choose our response. This choice, the choice of how to perceive and respond to our experiences, is where our true power lies. The luckiest person in the world is not one who never faces challenges, but one who sees every challenge as an opportunity for growth. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. So if you find yourself in circumstances that seem unlucky, do not despair. Instead, ask yourself, how can I use this experience to cultivate the state of being lucky? What opportunity for growth and transformation is hidden within this challenge? By reframing your experiences in this way, you begin to shift your consciousness. You move from a state of victimhood to a state of empowerment. And as your consciousness shifts, so too will your experiences. Now let us delve deeper into the practical aspects of embodying the state of being the luckiest person in the world. One powerful practice is to start your day by assuming this state. As soon as you wake up, before you engage with the outside world, take a few moments to feel the reality of being incredibly lucky. Feel the excitement of knowing that wonderful opportunities await you. Feel the confidence of knowing that everything will work out in your favor. Feel the joy of living a charmed life. Let this feeling permeate every cell of your being. As you go about your day, maintain this feeling. When you interact with others, do so from the state of being lucky. When you make decisions, make them from this state. When challenges arise, face them from this state. You'll be amazed at how this simple practice can transform your day. You'll start to notice synchronicities and fortuitous events. You'll find yourself in the right place at the right time. Opportunities will seem to fall into your lap. This is not coincidence. This is the outer world conforming to your inner state. Another powerful practice is to review your day through the lens of luck before you go to sleep. Reflect on all the ways in which you were lucky that day. Even seemingly small things, finding a parking spot easily, receiving a compliment, enjoying a delicious meal, can be seen as manifestations of your luck. By focusing on these experiences of luck, you reinforce the state of being lucky in your consciousness. You're essentially telling your subconscious mind, this is who I am. I am the luckiest person in the world. And your subconscious mind, being the faithful servant that it is, will work tirelessly to make this statement a reality. Now, some of you might be wondering, but Neville, what if I don't feel lucky? What if my current circumstances seem to contradict the idea that I'm the luckiest person in the world? This, my friends, is where the real work begins. This is where you must exercise your faith in your imagination. Remember, your imagination is more real than the world of physical senses. What you imagine and feel to be true is more powerful than what your physical senses report. So even if your current circumstances seem unlucky, you have the power to imagine and feel a different reality. This is not about denying your current experiences, but about choosing which experiences you give your attention and emotional energy to. By consistently focusing on and feeling the reality of being lucky, despite any seeming contradictions in your physical world, you begin to shift your state of consciousness. And as your consciousness shifts, your experiences must follow suit. Think of it like tuning a radio. Just as you tune into different frequencies to receive different stations, you can tune your consciousness to different states to experience different qualities. By persistently tuning into the frequency of luck and good fortune, you begin to receive experiences that match this frequency. Now let's address another important aspect of being the luckiest person in the world, gratitude. Gratitude is not just a pleasant emotion, it is a powerful creative force. When you're grateful, you're essentially saying to the universe, thank you for this, and please send more. The luckiest person in the world is deeply grateful for everything in their life. Not just the big obvious blessings, but also the small, everyday miracles that we often take for granted. They're grateful for the air they breathe, for the ground beneath their feet, for the ability to think and feel and experience life. This attitude of gratitude creates a positive feedback loop. The more grateful you are, the more you notice things to be grateful for. The more you notice these things, the luckier you feel. The luckier you feel, the more fortunate experiences you attract. It's a beautiful, self-perpetuating cycle of good fortune. So make gratitude a daily practice. Each morning when you wake up, and each night before you go to sleep, take a few moments to count your blessings. Feel the genuine emotion of thankfulness for all that is good in your life. And don't just be grateful for what you met for what's coming, for the desires that are in shares be. This practice of being grateful in advance is another way of living from the end. It reinforces your assumption of being the luckiest person in the world. It aligns your consciousness with the reality of your fulfilled invite. Now, my dear friends, as we continue our exploration of how to be the luckiest person in the world, I want to touch upon the concept of detachment. This might seem counterintuitive at first. After all, if you want to be lucky, shouldn't you be intensely focused on and attached to that desire? But here's a paradox. True manifestation comes from the place of detachment. When you're overly attached to a specific outcome, when you're anxiously wondering when and how your luck will manifest, you're actually pushing it away. You're operating from a state of lack, of not having, which contradicts the state of being lucky. The luckiest person in the world doesn't wonder when their luck will come. They know they are already lucky. They trust in the perfect unfolding of their life. They're detached from specific outcomes because they know that whatever comes their way is for their highest good. This detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means trusting so completely in your good fortune that you relax and enjoy the journey until everything is working out perfectly for you. It's the confident expectation of a child on Christmas Eve, excited for the gifts to come, but not anxious or doubtful. Cultivating this state of relaxed confidence is key to being the luckiest person in the world. It allows you to be open to possibilities that you might not have considered. It enables you to recognize opportunities that you might have overlooked if you were fixated on a particular outcome. So how does one cultivate this state of detached expectation? Through regular practice of your imaginal acts. By consistently assuming the feeling of being lucky, by living from that state in your imagination, you build an unshakable confidence in your good fortune. This confidence allows you to relax, to let go of the how and the when. You know that your luck is assured, so you can release the anxiety and the need to control. And ironically, it's in this state of relaxed allowing that your luck often manifests most powerfully. Now let's discuss another crucial aspect of being the luckiest person in the world, your self-concept. Your self-concept is the collection of beliefs you hold about yourself. It's your idea of who you are. And it's this self-concept that determines the experiences you allow into your life. If deep down you believe you're unlucky or undeserving of good fortune, you'll subconsciously block or sabotage lucky experiences. On the other hand, if you truly see yourself as lucky, as deserving of good things, you'll naturally attract and those fortunate experiences into your life. So a key part of becoming the luckiest person in the world is revising your self-concept. You must see yourself as inherently lucky, as someone for whom things always work out well. This isn't about arrogance or entitlement. It's about aligning your self-concept with the truth of your divine nature. Remember, you are a creative being, made in the image of the divine creator. You are inherently worthy of all good things. Life is your birthright. When you truly internalize this understanding, when you make it a part of your self-concept, you naturally become a magnet for good fortune. One powerful way to revise your self-concept is through the use of I am statements. These are not mere affirmations to be repeated mindlessly. They are declarations of your true nature to be felt and embodied. Try this, close your eyes and say to yourself, I am the luckiest person in the world. Say it not as something you hope to be true, but as a statement of fact. Feel the truth of it in every cell of your body. Let it resonate in your very being. As you practice this, you may notice resistance coming up. Old beliefs of unworthiness or bad luck might surface. Don't fight these thoughts. Simply observe them, thank them for their past service, and gently return to your I am statement. Remember, what you resist persists, but what you embrace and integrate loses its power over you. Now, my friends, I want to address a question that often arises when we discuss creating our own luck. Some ask, if I focus on being lucky, am I being selfish? Shouldn't I be more concerned with helping others? To this, I say, becoming the luckiest person in the world is the most selfless thing you can do. When you embody this state of good fortune, when you live from this consciousness, you naturally uplift everyone around you. Think about it when you're feeling lucky. When everything is going well for you, aren't you more generous, more kind, more patient with others? Don't you have more to give, both materially and energetically? Your good fortune overflows and touches the lives of everyone you encounter. Moreover, by demonstrating that it's possible to create your own luck, you inspire others to do the same. You become a living example of the potential that exists within each of us to shape our reality. In this way, your personal transformation becomes a catalyst for collective evolution. So never feel guilty about focusing on your own good fortune. Know that as you elevate yourself, you elevate the world. As you become luckier, you create a field of lucky possibilities for others to step into. Now let's explore another important aspect of being the luckiest person in the world, the concept of divine timing. Often when people try to manifest luck or good fortune, they become impatient. They want everything to happen immediately. And when it doesn't, they lose faith. But the truly lucky person understands and trusts in divine timing. They know that everything happens at the perfect moment, even if that moment isn't always clear to their human understanding. This trust in divine timing comes from a deep knowing that the universe is always working in your favor. It's the understanding that sometimes what seems a delay or a detour is actually the universe setting up the perfect conditions for your desire to manifest in the best possible way. When you trust in divine timing, you release the anxiety and frustration that comes from trying to force things to happen on your timeline. So you allow yourself to relax into the perfect unfolding of your good fortune. And ironically, it's often when you release this need for immediate results that things start manifesting more quickly and easily. So how does one cultivate this trust in divine timing? Through persistence in your assumption. By consistently living from the state of being the luckiest person in the world. Regardless of appearances, you build an unshakable faith in the perfect unfolding of your life. This persistence doesn't mean constantly thinking about being lucky or obsessing over when your luck will manifest. It means maintaining the feeling of being lucky, the state of consciousness of someone whose life is charmed, even as you go about your daily activities. It's like planting a seed. Once you plant the seed, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust in the natural process of growth. You continue to water it and provide the right conditions, knowing that in due time it will sprout and flourish. Similarly, once you plant the seed of being the luckiest person in the world in your consciousness, you must have faith in the process. Continue to nurture it with your attention and emotion, but release the anxiety about when or how it will fully manifest. Now, my dear friends, as we near the end of our discussion, I want to emphasize the things of taking inspired action. While the inner work of imagination and assumption is crucial, it must be paired with outer action for full manifestation of your luck. However, this action comes from a different place than conventional goal setting or striving. It comes from a place of alignment with your assumed state of being the luckiest person in the world. When you truly live from this state, you'll find yourself naturally inspired to take actions that align with your good fortune. These inspired actions often feel effortless and joyful. They may not always make logical sense to your rational being, but they will feel right way on a deeper level. Trust these inspirations. Act on them promptly and decisively. Remember, you're not taking action to make yourself lucky. You're taking action because, as the luckiest person in the world, this is simply what you would naturally do. This subtle shift in perspective makes up the difference. As we conclude, I want to remind you of the immense power you hold within you. You are not at the mercy of chance or circumstance. You are the creator of your reality, the author of your fortune. Your focus, your imagination, your assumptions shape the world you experience. Choose wisely what you give your attention to. Cultivate thoughts and feelings that align with being the luckiest person in the world. Live from that state, assuming the feeling of your wish to practice gratitude, revive your self-concept, trust in divine timing, and take inspired action. And above all, persist in your assumption. Persist in your faith. Persist in your faith to are indeed the luckiest person in the world. For remember, your consciousness is the only reality, and you are that consciousness. You are the operant power in your life. You are the source of your own good fortune. Embrace this truth, live from this understanding, and watch as your life transforms in wonderful and unexpected ways. Go forth now, not as seekers of luck, but as embodiments of it. Not as hopeful dreamers, but as conscious creators of your own life. For you are the power, you are the luck. You are the divine expression of fortune itself. Thank you for your attention, my friends. May your journey of becoming the luckiest person in the world be filled with joy, wonder, and the continual unfolding of your infinite potential. Have you ever noticed that life feels lighter more magical when you truly let go. When you stop trying to control everything and just breathe. Today I'm going to share something that changed my life completely, and I know it will change yours too. Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your breath. This simple act of being present, of letting go, this is where your power lies. Not in struggling, not in fighting, but in surrendering to the infinite intelligence within you. You see, most people live their entire lives in a state of resistance. They're constantly pushing against what is, fighting what could be, worrying about what might be. But I'm here to tell you something that might shock you. The universe isn't separate from you. It's an extension of your consciousness. Think about how you feel when you're truly happy. In those moments, you're not trying to control anything. You're simply being. This state of being, this natural flow, this is your true power. But most never realize this because they're too busy trying to make things happen. Let me share something profound with you. Every time you worry about the future, every time you stress about how something will work out, you're actually resisting the natural flow of life. You're telling the universe you don't trust it. And what you resist persists. I remember a time when I was constantly trying to control everything in my life. Every detail, every outcome. I was exhausted, frustrated, and nothing seemed to work out the way I wanted. Then I discovered something that changed everything. The power of letting go. You see, letting go isn't about giving up. It's about understanding that there's an intelligence far greater than your conscious mind at work. When you truly grasp this, something magical happens. Life starts working for you instead of against you. Think about when you're falling asleep. You don't try to fall asleep, do you? You relax and allow sleep to come. This same principle applies to everything in life. The more you try to force things, the more they resist. The more you let go and trust, the more naturally things flow. Most people approach life like they're swimming upstream, constantly fighting against the current. But what if I told you that everything you want is actually downstream? What if all you need to do is stop struggling and allow yourself to flow with life instead of against it? The universe operates through perfect law. Just as gravity doesn't sometimes work and sometimes doesn't, it's always working. The law of consciousness is always working too. Your only job is to align yourself with it through the art of letting go. Consider this. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust the process. You know that the seed contains everything it needs to become what it's meant to be. Your desires are exactly the same. Most people don't realize that they're constant checking their anxiety, their need to control. These are the very things preventing their desires from manifesting. It's like constantly digging up the seed to see if it's growing. When you truly understand the art of letting go, you'll notice something remarkable. Things start working out better than you could have planned. It's as if life itself is orchestrating events in your favor. But this can only happen when you get out of your own way. Think about breathing for a moment. You don't control each breath, do you? There's something within you that knows exactly how to breathe, how to digest food, how to make your heart beat. This same intelligence knows exactly how to bring your desires to fruition. I've observed that most people live in a state of constant tension. They're always trying to figure everything out, always trying to make things happen. But life doesn't work that way. Life unfolds naturally when you allow it to. Consider how a flower blooms. It doesn't strain or struggle. It doesn't try to force its petals open. It simply allows the process to unfold naturally. This is exactly how manifestation works, through allowing, not forcing. The secret that most miss is this: your natural state is one of ease and flow. Struggle is learned. Anxiety is learned. Trust and relaxation are your natural state, just as they were when you were a small child. Most never realize that their power lies not in doing, but in being. When you're in the right state of consciousness, life moves you toward your desires automatically. You don't have to figure out how. I think about when you're in a state of complete trust. Notice how everything seems to work out effortlessly. This isn't coincidence. This is the natural result of letting go and allowing the infinite intelligence within you to work on your behalf. Your only job is to maintain the state of the wish fulfilled. Not through effort or strain, but through relaxed awareness. Just as you naturally accept that the sun will rise tomorrow, accept that what you desire is already yours. I've watched countless people struggle because they think they need to make things happen. But I tell you this, everything you want is already created. Your job is simply to relax into the state where it exists. Consider how easily water flows around obstacles. It doesn't fight them. It doesn't try to break them down. It simply finds another way. This is how you should move through life, with fluid adaptability and trust. Most people approach manifestation like it's a battle to be won. But I tell you this, it's a garden to be tended. Plant your seed, your desire, water it with attention, and then let it grow naturally. Think about when you're deeply relaxed, perhaps just before falling asleep. In those moments, your mind isn't racing to solve problems. You're simply being. This state of relaxed awareness is where your true power lies. Most never understand that their anxiety about outcomes is actually creating resistance to those very outcomes. It's like trying to drive with one foot on the gas and one on the brake. Release the brake of worry and watch how naturally things begin to flow. I've witnessed remarkable transformations when people finally grasp this truth, that their only job is to maintain the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not through effort or strain, but through relaxed, natural knowing. Consider how effortlessly your heart beats, how naturally your lungs breathe, how perfectly your body maintains its temperature. This same intelligence knows exactly how to bring your desires into reality. Trust it. The secret that transforms lives is this: your external world must conform to your internal state. But this doesn't happen through force. It happens through surrender, through letting go of the how, and trusting in the perfect law. Think about times when things worked out perfectly without your intervention. Remember that feeling of pleasant surprise? That's what happens when you get out of your own way and allow life to work for you. Most people live in a state of constant mental chatter, always trying to figure everything out. But I tell you this, your intellectual mind is not equipped to orchestrate the infinite details required to manifest your desires. Let go and trust. Consider how naturally a river flows to the ocean. It doesn't stress about the path. It doesn't worry about obstacles. It simply flows, knowing it will reach its destination. This is how you should live, in complete trust of the process. Your power lies in your ability to feel the reality of your desire now, while completely letting go of how it will manifest. The how is not your concern. Your only concern is maintaining the state of having already received. I've observed that those who manifest most easily are those who understand that letting go isn't giving up. It's surrendering to a higher intelligence that knows far better than their conscious mind how to bring about their desires. Think about when you're truly in the flow of something you love. Time disappears, worry vanishes, and everything seems to happen perfectly. This state of flow is your natural state. The more you trust, the more you experience it. Most never realize that their power lies in their ability to be still. Not a physical stillness, but a mental stillness. When your mind is still, when you're truly at peace with where you are, that's when magic happens. Consider how a seed becomes a tree. It doesn't happen through force or struggle. It happens through a natural unfolding, a perfect sequence of events that the seed doesn't need to control or understand. Think about how naturally you trust that night will turn to day. You don't lie awake wondering if the sun will rise. This same level of natural trust must be applied to everything you desire. It's not blind faith. It's understanding the law. Most people live in a state of constant seeking, always looking for their desire to manifest. But this very state of seeking implies that what you want is absent. The secret is to live as if you already have what you desire. I've watched people struggle for years because they keep trying to control the process. But when they finally let go, when they truly surrender to the perfect law within them, everything begins to shift effortlessly. Consider how easily you accept your own reflection in a mirror. There's no doubt, no questioning. This same level of natural acceptance must be applied to your desired state. Feel it as real as your reflection. The secret that changes everything is this: Your consciousness is the only reality. Everything else is an effect, a shadow of your state. But most people spend their lives trying to change the shadow instead of changing the state that cast it. Think about when you're completely absorbed in something you love. You're not trying to make anything happen. You're simply being. This state of pure being, free from anxiety and effort, is where true creation occurs. Most never realize that their power lies in their ability to be still and know. Not intellectual knowing, but a deep, unshakable knowing that transcends logic and external evidence. Consider how naturally water takes the shape of its container. Your consciousness is like water. It takes the shape of whatever state you pour it into. Choose your state wisely, for it will manifest in your world. Your external reality is nothing more than your internal state pushed out. But this doesn't mean you need to force changes. It means you need to relax into the state where what you desire already exists. I've observed that those who manifest most easily are those who understand that letting go isn't a passive state. It's an active trust in the perfect law. They know that what they desire is already theirs in consciousness. Think about how you feel when you're completely at peace. There's no struggle, no effort, no trying to make things happen. This state of peace is actually your most powerful creative state. Most people approach their desires like they're reaching for something far away. But I tell you this, your desire isn't out there somewhere. It's a state of consciousness that you must occupy now. Consider how naturally you accept that spring follows winter. You don't worry about it. You don't try to make it happen. This same natural acceptance must be applied to the fulfillment of your desires. Think about the feeling of complete certainty you have about simple facts, like knowing your own name. That same level of certainty, that same absence of doubt, must be applied to your desires, not through force, but through understanding. Most people live in constant anticipation, always waiting for their desire to manifest. But this state of waiting keeps pushing the manifestation into an endless future. The secret is to live as if it's already done. I've witnessed the most remarkable transformations when people finally grasp that their power lies not in doing, but in being. When they stop trying to make things happen and start allowing things to unfold naturally. Consider how effortlessly you fall asleep when you're truly tired. You don't force it, you allow it. This same principle applies to manifestation. The more you try to force it, the more it eludes you. The more you allow, the more naturally it comes. The secret that most miss is this: your imagination isn't showing you possibilities. It's showing you realities that already exist in consciousness. Your job is simply to occupy the state where your desire exists. Think about how you feel when you remember something that actually happened. There's a certain solidity to it, a realness. Your desired state must feel just as solid, just as real, just as unquestionable. Most never realize that their power lies in their ability to feel the reality of their desire more intensely than they feel current circumstances. When you master this, manifestation becomes automatic. Consider how naturally you accept the changing of seasons. You don't resist it, you don't doubt it. This same natural acceptance must be applied to the unfolding of your desires. Your consciousness is like a signal you're constantly broadcasting to the universe. The clearer the signal, meaning the more stable your state, the faster the manifestation. But clarity comes through relaxation, not effort. I've observed that those who manifest most easily are those who understand that circumstances don't create state. State creates circumstances. They lie from the end, feeling it real now. Think about how you feel when you're absolutely certain about something. You don't try to make it true, you know it's true. This is the feeling state that manifests instantly. Most people approach manifestation like it's something they need to figure out. But I tell you this, it's already figured out. Your only job is to occupy the state where what you desire already exists. Consider how naturally you accept your own existence. You don't question it, you don't doubt it. This same level of unquestionable acceptance must be applied to your desired state. Think about how easily you accept that your reflection in a mirror is yours. There's no doubt, no questioning. This same natural acceptance must be applied to your desires. They are as much yours as your reflection. Most people live in a state of constant comparison. always measuring where they are against where they want to be. But this very act of comparison keeps them stuck in the state of wanting. The secret is to live from the state of having. I've watched countless individuals transform their entire lives when they finally understood that their power isn't in changing thinking. Consider how naturally you accept that when you drop something, it will fall. You don't doubt gravity. This same unwavering acceptance must be applied to the law of consciousness. It's just as reliable as gravity. The secret that changes everything is this: your external world has no choice but to reflect your inner state. It's not personal, it's law. Just as a mirror must reflect what stands before it, your world must reflect your consciousness. Think about how you feel when you're completely immersed in doing something you love. Time disappears, worry vanishes, and you're simply being. This pure state of being is where true creative power lies. Most never realize that every moment of discomfort is actually a call to shift states. When you feel dissatisfied, it's not the circumstance that needs to change. It's your state of consciousness. Consider how naturally you accept that tomorrow will come. You don't worry about it. You don't try to make it happen. This same natural confidence must be applied to the unfolding of your desires. Your power to create isn't something you need to acquire. It's something you're using every moment. The question is, are you using it consciously or unconsciously? I have observed that those who manifest most easily are those who understand that their state of consciousness is like a frequency they're broadcasting. The clearer and more consistent the frequency, the faster the manifestation. Think about how you feel when you remember something that actually happened. There's a certainty to it, an unquestionable reality. Your desired state must feel just as certain, just as real. Most people spend their lives trying to manifest from a state of wanting, not realizing that wanting can only create more wanting. The secret is to manifest from a state of having. Consider how naturally you accept the air you breathe. You don't doubt its presence. You don't worry about its availability. This same natural acceptance must be applied to your desires. Think about how effortlessly water finds its level. It doesn't struggle. It doesn't force. It simply flows. Your manifestation should come just as naturally, just as effortlessly when you're in the right state. Most people live in a constant state of mental warfare, fighting against their current reality while trying to create a new one. But this very fight creates resistance. The secret is to relax into your desired state as naturally as you relax into sleep. I've witnessed remarkable transformations when people finally grasp that their only task is to maintain the feeling of their desire fulfilled, not through strain or effort, but through natural, relaxed awareness. Consider how easily you differentiate between hot and cold. You don't think about it, you just know. This same level of immediate, unquestioning knowing must be applied to your desired state. The secret that most never realize is this: your imagination isn't showing you fantasies, it's showing you realities that already exist in consciousness. When you truly grasp this, manifestation becomes instantaneous. Think about how naturally you accept that your heart will keep beating. You don't worry about it, you don't try to control it. This same level of natural trust must be applied to the manifestation of your desires. Most never understand that their power lies not in what they do, but in the state from which they do it. The same action taken from different states produces entirely different results. Consider how easily you recognize your own voice. There's no doubt, no questioning. Your desired state must feel just as familiar, just as undeniably yours. Your external world is nothing but your internal state made visible. But this doesn't mean you need to fight against current circumstances. Simply occupy the state where what you desire already exists. I've observed that those who manifest most easily are those who understand that circumstances are shadows. And you can't fight a shadow. You can only change the object casting it, your state of consciousness. Think about how naturally you accept the ground beneath your feet. You don't question whether it will support you. This same unquestioning trust must be applied to the law of consciousness. Most people approach manifestation like it's a battle to be won. But I tell you this, it's just a state to be occupied. When you occupy the right state, everything else adjusts automatically. Consider how easily you know whether you're happy or sad. You don't need to think about it. You just know. This same immediate knowing must be applied to your desired state. Think about how naturally you accept that after every night comes day. This isn't hope or wishful thinking, it's knowing. Your desired state must feel just as certain, just as inevitable. Most people live in constant mental turmoil, always torn between what is and what could be. But this very division keeps them stuck. The secret is to be single-minded in your consciousness of the desired state. I've watched countless lives transform when people finally understand that their power lies not in changing things on the outside, but in changing the state from which they view everything. Consider how easily you know your own name. There's no doubt, no questioning, no need for evidence. Your desired state must feel just as natural, just as undeniably yours. The secret that changes everything is this. Your consciousness is like a radio signal you're constantly broadcasting. The universe has no choice but to respond to your frequency. But most people keep changing stations. Think about how naturally you accept that spring follows winter. You don't worry about it. You don't try to make it happen. This same natural acceptance must be applied to the unfolding of your desires. Most never realize that their power lies in their ability to be still. Not physical stillness, but mental stillness. When your mind is truly still, truly at peace with your desired state, that's when magic happens. Consider how effortlessly you recognize your own reflection. You don't need to convince yourself it's you. You just know. This same level of natural recognition must be applied to your desired state. Your external reality is nothing but your internal state projected outward. But this projection isn't something you need to force. It happens automatically when you maintain the right state. I've observed that those who manifest most easily are those who understand that their job isn't to make things happen, but to occupy the state where things have already happened. Think about how naturally you accept that water is wet. You don't question it, you don't doubt it. This same unquestioning acceptance must be applied to your desired state. Most people spend their lives trying to bridge the gap between where they are and where they want to be. But I tell you this, there is no gap except in consciousness. Consider how easily you know whether you're awake or asleep. This knowing isn't something you achieve, it's something you experience. Your desired state must be experienced just as naturally. Think about how naturally you accept that your eyes see color. You don't question it, you don't try to make it happen. This same natural acceptance must be applied to your manifestations. Most people live in a state of constant seeking, always looking outside themselves for evidence of their desires. But this very act of seeking implies absence. The secret is to live from the state of fulfillment. I've witnessed the most profound transformations when people finally grasp that their only responsibility is to maintain the feeling tone of their desire fulfilled, not through force, but through relaxed awareness. Consider how effortlessly you know whether you're hungry or full. There's no debate, no questioning. Your desired state must feel just as undeniable, just as real to your consciousness. The secret that most miss is this. Your imagination isn't simply showing you possibilities. It's showing you realities that already exist in consciousness. Your job is to occupy these realities through feeling. Think about how naturally you accept that ice is cold. You don't need proof, you don't question it. This same level of natural knowing must be applied to your desired state. Most never understand that their power lies not in what they do, but in the state from which they do it. The same action taken from different states produces entirely different results. Consider how easily you recognize your favorite song. The moment you hear it, you know it. Your desired state must be just as instantly recognizable to your consciousness. Your consciousness is like the soil in which all seeds of possibility grow. But most people keep digging up their seeds to check if they're growing, not realizing that this very act prevents growth. I've observed that those who manifest most easily are those who understand that circumstances don't create consciousness. Consciousness creates circumstances. Think about how naturally you accept that fire is hot. There's no doubt, no need for proof. Your desired state must feel just as undeniably real. Most people approach manifestation like it's something they need to achieve. But I tell you this is something you need to allow. It's already done in consciousness. Consider how effortlessly you know whether you're comfortable or uncomfortable. This immediate knowing must be applied to your desired state. It's not something you figure out, it's something you feel. Let me tell you a great secret. Your consciousness is the only reality. When you say, I am anxious, I am lost, I am stressed, or I am unhappy, you are not describing unchangeable facts about your being. Instead, you are choosing and animating these states through your wonderful human imagination. In the Bible, it states, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is not mere poetry or religious sentiment. This is the law of consciousness. Your mind, your imagination is the workshop wherein all your experiences are fashioned. Consider this profound truth. Right now within you exists every state you could ever desire to occupy. The state of perfect peace, complete clarity, absolute confidence, boundless joy. These are not distant possibilities, but present realities within your consciousness. You see, when you feel lost, what is really happening? You have entered and accepted as real a state where confusion seems to be the reality. When you feel anxious, what is actually occurring? You have given life and power to a state where future uncertainties appear more real than your own divine nature. But I tell you this, you are not bound to these states. You are the awareness, the pure consciousness that can move between states at will. This is what the scripture means when it says, I am the door. Your I amness, your consciousness, is the door through which you enter and exit all states. Let me share with you what I call the law of consciousness. Whatever state you accept as real, whatever state you fully occupy in your imagination, must externalize itself in your experience. This is not theory, this is law. Now here's the wonderful news. Just as you have entered these unwanted states of anxiety, loss, stress, and unhappiness, you can move out of them. But then this is crucial. You do not fight against these states. You do not battle anxiety or wrestle with stress. Instead, you simply enter a new state. How do you do this? Through the law of assumption. When you feel lost, do not try to find your way. Instead, assume the feeling of being found. When you feel anxious, do not try to calm yourself. Instead, assume the feeling of perfect peace. When you feel stressed and unhappy, do not try to solve all your problems. Instead, assume the feeling of fulfillment and joy. You might ask, but how can I assume a feeling that seems so far from my current experience? Through your wonderful human imagination. Your imagination is not a void where you escape from reality. It is the very substance of reality itself. Consider what the scripture means when it says the kingdom of heaven is within you. This kingdom is your imagination, and it contains all possible states. Right now within you exists a state of perfect peace, complete clarity, absolute confidence, and boundless joy. Let me share with you a practical application. Tonight, as you lay in your bed, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Feel what it would feel like to be completely at peace. Don't just think about it, feel it. Feel the relief, the clarity, the joy that would be yours if you were already the person you wish to be. Here is the secret. You must persist in this new assumption. You must live from it, not for it. This is what the Bible means when it says, walk by faith, not by sight. You must be faithful to your assumption regardless of what your senses dictate. When you wake tomorrow morning, your old state might try to reclaim you. This is natural. But remember, you are not your states. You are the awareness that can choose which state to occupy. Choose again. Choose the state of peace, of clarity, of joy. Let me tell you about the law of reversibility. Just as feeling anxious creates anxious circumstances, feeling peaceful creates peaceful circumstances. Just as feeling lost creates experiences of being lost, feeling found creates experiences of being found. The law works both ways with mathematical precision. But remember, you must give the new state time to externalize itself. The seed must have time to grow. This is what patience means in the Bible. It's not about waiting for something outside of you to change. It's about remaining faithful to your new assumption until it bears fruit in your experience. Here's another powerful truth. Your outer world is nothing more than your inner world pushed out. Every feeling of anxiety, every sensation of being lost, every experience of stress, these are all your inner assumptions made visible. Change the inner, and the outer must change. Let me share with you a technique I call revision. At the end of each day, before you sleep, revise any moment where you felt lost, anxious, or unhappy. In your imagination, replay these scenes as you would have wished them to be. Feel the peace, the clarity, the joy you would have felt had things been different. This is not mere fantasy or wishful thinking. This is the actual transformation of consciousness. Remember, consciousness is the only reality. When you change it, you change everything.